Hey folks, so this is part 3 of a 3-part series on fishing coho salmon in the Snohomish River in western Washington. If you missed part 1 or part 2, go ahead and go back and watch those so part 3 makes sense to you. So setup, look at this. It's almost just like the cheaters and yarn, okay? Make a decision, fixed weight or sliding weight. You choose. Make sure you have the right amount of weight. Again, just enough weight to tick across the bottom. When I'm fishing the Dick Knights, even if I'm trolling them, I'm using an ultralight rod. I'm using a spinning setup. The ultralight rods or a light rod is the perfect match for a Dick Knight. Okay? And you'd be surprised at how far you can cast a Dick Knight on a 4-foot leader and 1.25 inches of lead to get out there and hit a seam. Surprised. Just put it out there. So make the decision on which one you're going to do and see how you like it. I like sliding.
What's your leader one?
It depends on my water, okay? It really comes to there's a couple factors. How deep is the water, and then what's my visibility, okay? I was fishing, I was up the confluence of the Snohomish just the other day, and I had 4-foot leaders because I had about 3 feet of visibility. I just don't want my weight and all that other stuff seen at the same time that my Dick Knight's going through the water. So, you know, play with your leaders and find out what's comfortable for you. You know, if you just have to look at the visibility of the water. That's really the key to the whole setup. If you want to fish fluorocarbon, shorten up your leaders, you can do it. You just want to have that wobbling action on the leader, on the lure, okay? I'll be anywhere from 3 to 6 feet, no more than 6. And 6, it's got to be, I mean, just gin clear almost.
Is that what you would use on Monday?
No, on Monday, I was using a cheater setup, and those are probably, that leader was about 5 feet. Yep. Okay, I like the sliding setup, right? Fixed or sliding, because I think the sliding reduces line twist. That's really the bottom line. I like the sliding setup, and it's quick for me to set up. Oh, we've seen the weight and how much that should be. Now, let's say you got a lot of flow. You need to use more weight, okay? So, and it's deep. If any of you guys have ever been to Upper Rock, sometimes there can be a lot of flow there. It's 12 feet on the wall. I might go to 1/2 ounce lead or even up to 1s or 2s in cannonballs. In that case, I'm going to tie an 8-inch leader out of fluorocarbon. The fluorocarbon is more stiff. I'll tie a loop knot in the other end and I'll put it on my snap swivel, my slider. So it's now a drop weight, right? That fluorocarbon doesn't wrap around the main line because it's more stiff. Not always, but for the most part it doesn't. Again, match your leaders to your main line. If you're fishing 10-pound main line, fish 8-pound leaders. If you're fishing 12-pound main line, fish 10-pound leaders. Make sure it's balanced out. And again, your leader length is going to be dictated by the visibility in the water, okay? If you're out there with 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 feet, and I know guys are out there doing it because I see them working at casting it out there, and you're just trying to floss fish, that's not fishing, right? That's like a carnival game. Leader length is based on visibility. So know the Snohomish. This river changes like any other river. All of a sudden you've got a stump where there wasn't one. And some things are very consistent. They're always there from year to year. The Snohomish River is tidal below crab bar. So if you haven't been out there in a while and you're not sure, you know, you're thinking, hey, I'm going to hit the Snohomish. And you're going to put in Snohomish, or you're going to put in Doug Bar, and you're going to go somewhere, you need to know what the tide is. Because you might come back, you might not be able to get your boat out. Okay? And it's happened. So if we take a look at the picture here, let's start up over to the right. There we go. There's the confluence up there. just a short little run from High Bridge on the Snoqualmie. You know, it's a short little run there. If you haven't been out there in a while, when you leave High Bridge and you head down, you come around the bend, I'd suggest you float through that, okay, going downriver. We call that the gauntlet. It can have a surprise in there for you, okay? You can easily run it going back up, no problem. And that you can get down there. But there's a lot of good drift fishing above the 522 bridge here at the confluence. There's also a lot of wood on the north side of the river. Great place for casting and retrieving plugs. Great place for casting and retrieving spinners. A lot on the south side. Great place for trolling plugs. And also just above the 522, you can do a circular troll pattern there. A lot of guys will do a circular troll pattern in there and do very well. If you drop down here to B, there's your upper rock. And it's just a big rock on the north side of the river, and you'll see how the river goes in. And if you haven't been up there in a while and you're heading down from High Bridge, stay right. You'll stay right until you drop out of the little chute, and then you'll cut behind the boats. Don't cut in front of them. They'll be mad. Cut behind them. You'll have plenty of water. Okay? Then as you go down river a little bit more, there's a big flat in here. A lot of guys like to get on this north side, and they'll anchor up, pull plugs, flatline some plugs. It's not very deep right in there. Then you come on down around here into Crab Bar. A lot of bank anglers in there. Okay? So, Crab Bar has its advantages and disadvantages. Come on through the boneyard. Right now to run this, if you want to try and run and get into Thomas Eddy, you're going to need to run through the boneyard. So stay hard right. And if you haven't done it, just motor down through it. Look for your slot. It won't be a big deal. And watch out for the bankies. If you're running down here in the fog and you're too close to the wall, they'll throw stuff at you. Okay, so hey, try and be nice. You come around here, Thomas Eddy. I just leave Thomas Eddy to the bank anglers. I don't fish it. Boat anglers, they do get up in there and they'll anchor up in there and pull plugs and whatever. I just leave it alone. Down here below Doug Bar, you got a little island back here. There's a lot of wood in there, guys. A lot of wood. And there's a lot of opportunity in there as well. Drift fishing, pulling plugs, cast and retrieve plugs, cast and retrieve Dick Knights. There's a lot of opportunity. Just be careful back in there because there's a lot of wood. But if you're just moving easy, it's not going to be a big deal. Okay? Drop on down past Doug Bar behind this other island. Call that Bailey's. And if you haven't been down in there in a while, it looks the same. The pilings are still there, the trees and the stumps, and about 40 or 50 boats for every 100 yards. A lot of boats in there, but there's a lot of fish in there. And again, depends on what your tide. Now we're below Crab Bar, it's all tidal. So if you get an incoming tide, could it almost seem like the river comes to a stop? Yeah. So now you need to cast and retrieve. You're not letting the river do the job on the lure that you need to. And then of course, if you drop down here to the Pilchuck River, that's a good little troll spot right there. It's a deep spot right there, just upriver from the mouth of the Pilchuck. And that can really pay dividends if you're trolling, if you like to flatline and troll plugs. It can pay big dividends. What's that? No, right there at the mouth of the Pilchuck, it's upriver from that, but this whole bank there on the north side, it's just full of brambles, and you'll see big 2-3 man rock, and it just goes right down in. It's deep. Okay? And then of course you've got the Snohomish Ramp just up and around the bend past the pump station, the old railroad track, and all that stuff there. So if you guys are you're in a boat, you want access, you can do High Bridge on the Snoqualmie, Douglas Bar. That's a pay thing. You need to pay, you buy a key for a year, or the city of Snohomish. Now, if you're a drift boat guy, you can put in Monroe, fish the Skycomish, and come down. And if you don't pay to take out at Doug Bar, it's not really all that much further to go down to Snohomish and take out for free. If the tide lets you. Know your tide, okay? Because once you get below Crab Bar, it comes into play. Bank anglers. South side of 522, somehow they're getting in there and nobody's complaining. North side, that's private property, and I've seen Fish and Game go in there and write people tickets, and the property owner gets mad, so you gotta watch that. Short School Road on the north side of the river down around Thomas Eddy, Douglas Bar, there's bank access points there. Conley Road on the south side of the river by Crab Bar, there's bank access points there. And then of course the Pilchuck River area on the north side, I don't know how, but they walk in from the Pilchuck River area. So there's access there. I've never walked in from there. I'm there. There's a few fish. And I appreciate Three Rivers Marine having me out. It's short, it's down and dirty. Normally we go about an hour, and so a lot more questions, a lot more information. If you guys have any questions, feel free to call me. You can email me, you can text me. I've got cards and rat cards up here, and I'll be around for a little bit if you guys have questions. All right, thanks. Okay, folks, well, that's it. That's the end of our three-part series on fishing coho salmon in the Snohomish River here in western Washington. Now, if you paid close attention, you'll notice some of the techniques, the lures, and the areas that I discussed fishing can be used throughout the Pacific Northwest when fishing for steelhead or salmon throughout the year. I hope this information's been helpful to you, and make sure you check our website for more videos on seminars and how-to topics, and also fishing footage from throughout the Pacific Northwest. Thanks for watching.